Hello dear friends, this is Money Goel, and in this video I'm going to be speaking about empaths. Are you an empath? And what does it mean if you are? And how it could be affecting you and how it could be affecting your life in some ways. So I'm going to share with you 10 traits of an empath. If you're a healer, if you work with any kind of healing modalities, it could be energy healing modality like a pranic healing, Reiki, or any other modalities like magnified healing, um, theta healing, you could be an empath. Even if you're not a healer, or you could still be a very sensitive soul. So you could be in a profession like, uh, say, you're a school teacher, or you run your own business, perhaps a garment business, or you could be an author or artist, or um, in any other profession, perhaps a legal profession or a financier, an investment banker. Still, you could be an empath, and it could be affecting you in some ways, and you may not yet be able to understand why your environment affects you the way it does, and why you're so sensitive, and why often you find yourself being depressed or feeling low, or sometimes getting angry when you don't want to get angry, and it could all be because you're actually an empath. um, so here I'm going to discuss at least 10 traits of people who are empaths, and a lot of empaths actually eventually gear towards healing arts. They become angel therapists, or any other, in any other form they choose to become healers or teachers or guides or inspirational teachers for people, because they realize that that's their true calling because they're so sensitive. A lot of artists are also empaths. So, anyways, so here are a few traits of empaths. At the end of the video, you might be able to realize if you're one or not, and you may also be able to realize why your environment, why other people's energies impact you the way they do. All right, and so the first trait of an empath or an empathetic person. I'm not talking about empathetic person or empathy, which is a beautiful quality. I'm talking about empaths. So I think it's a totally different term altogether. Uh, it's a People who are empaths. They do have these distinctive traits and qualities, and oftentimes we grow up not knowing that we are ones, and without knowing why we felt on certain occasions the way we felt. So basically, the uh, first very definitive trait of an empath is they feel stuff, and they feel stuff to a great degree. They they're very much in touch with their emotions, and they feel things. So they walk into a room and they can feel the energies. They walk into a party or a social gathering and they can feel the energies. Okay, so if you are, I've been speaking since the start of this video, I've been talking a lot about feeling and how you felt and all that. So if you feel a lot, you know, um, then you are most probably an empath. You're able to feel other people's emotions, what they might be going through. Uh, for example, you could be in a legal profession and you could be sitting in your office and someone comes to you and seeks advice regarding a particular case or whatever, and you already feel something. You can feel that person's emotions to the extent that you may even start getting weepy or teary eyed, and it means you're an empath. Okay. Second trait of an empath is they are lie detectors. Um, they detect lies. So You people could be saying one thing, but an empath knows intuitively or instinctively that what is being said is not correct. It's actually a lie. And they may not be able to say it. They may not be able to, they may not be able to basically counter that with facts, but they know that it's a lie. And that's another trait of being an empath. So, not they have this hidden lie detector within them. Uh, so that's a second trait. Third trait is they are energy absorbers. So, of course, you feel a lot. Of course, you know that when people are lying or when they're speaking, when they're coming from a space of truth or lack of integrity. They're also energy sponges. Okay. So, for example, I spoke about an empath walking into a social gathering and or a party or a room and being able to feel the energies there, being able to feel other people's emotions. But an empath, and actually any sensitive person can do that, you know, a lot of intuitive people can feel that. But what happens, what makes you distinct as an empath is empaths also serve as sponges for negative energy. Because you're so sensitive as a person, as an individual, when you walk into a room and there's a lot of negative energy, an empath unknowingly absorbs this negative energy, uplifts the energy in that environment, and walks away with a lot of that negative energy instilled and infused into them without knowing. And how does that impact the empath who's just acted as an energy sponge in their environment? Is because of that negative energy that they may have absorbed, they may end up feeling depressed, they may end up feeling irritable, they may end up feeling restless, angry, a little volatile, or even because what they've done is they have absorbed other people's emotions, negative energy or negative emotions stemming from other people's egos. It has gotten instilled in their cellular memory, in their energetic space, and it's creating an upheaval within them. It's affecting them without them knowing why it's happening. And in some cases, an empath, after going, after going into or after entering um, a negative environment, may actually come out feeling sick for few days. So you may even you may have fever. You may develop high fever for few days, or because you've absorbed negative energy. So you've cleared the energy in that space, in that environment, but you have it has gotten infused within you, within your state of being, and it has caused some kind of physical, energetic repercussions, manifesting in form of physical ailments such as fever, stomach disorders, headaches, nausea, um, even sweating, perspiration, or feeling very uneasy and depressed, sad, a lot of sorrow because it's all coming from the other environment, from the environment and from other people's emotions. Okay, so that is the third trait of an empath. So if you find yourself feeling sick suddenly after visiting a social gathering or visiting someone's house or home, it could be even your relatives' homes or your friends' home. It's because you have absorbed the energies there and you have brought it with you and it's affecting you. So it's very important for empaths to keep clearing the energy body and going for walks around the nature, working with spiritual guardians such as Archangel Michael to cut the cords, or having a prayer ritual, um, and chanting. meditation, doing spiritual healing, practicing Reiki or pranic healing on yourself, or even walking by the beach or an ocean are great energetic release mechanisms. All right. So that was the third quality. Fourth quality is because an empath is so sensitive and acts as a sponge, they may reflect or feel symptoms of certain illnesses which are not theirs. So they may not have that physical ailment in the body as such, but they may feel certain symptoms because it is coming from the environment. So, for example, you work in an office and one of your colleagues that you work very closely with has an heart ailment. All right. If you're an empath, over a period of time, you may start feeling palpitations in your heart, some kind of congestion in your chest, heaviness even in your heart, and you may wonder why it's happening. And and it's because you're feeling the symptoms from this colleague who you work very closely with, and you're actually tuning into this colleague's energy. Okay. So that is another quality of empath. So sometimes you may reflect some symptoms of an ailment which may actually not be in your physical body. If you go for your checks and your tests, you'll be absolutely fine, but you're feeling those symptoms. It's coming from the environment. Okay, sorry, my camera. Uh, so that's the fourth quality of an empath. Another quality of an empath is in terms of in relationships. Sometimes the relationships can be a little volatile. The reason why they're volatile is because they absorb so much energy and emotions from the other person. So an empath and from their environment even. So for example, an empath is working in an office with the environment is not very positive and is working with people going through a lot of stress. So absorbs all that energy, meets the partner later in the evening with all the emotions, with all the energy that he or she is carrying around him in his or her aura, and um, will actually reflect that those emotions, will actually express those emotions and energetic upheavals, which may eventually affect and impact the relationship. At the same time, if the partner of the empath has anger issues, emotional issues, or is emotionally unstable, has a lot of stress induced uh, ailments, could be emotional, physical, whatever, an empath is likely to reflect those as well. So basically, an empath is going to mirror the partner because of the sensitivity aspect. The empath is going to mirror the partner and may actually react in a more volatile manner than the partner himself or herself. And that's why sometimes, especially during the initial stages, without them knowing, a lot of empaths may have volatile relationships. Without knowing, they may act angrily, they may become very restless, they may become very depressed in a relationship because they are picking up a lot of energy from their partner. Okay, that's another thing. Um, Crowds, going into a crowd is not a strong suit for an empath. It affects them, so they don't. If you don't know you're an empath, then nowadays, if you're living in a city and you're going through a crowded area and you have a busy social life, of course you will be going through crowds and all that, but it will affect you. And normally an empath, if they're asked, their preference would be not to go into crowded spaces because it affects them, because the energies there's an energetic upheaval that they may go through. So they don't really like crowds. They like peace and quiet. And another trait of empaths is that they need to have some me time. Okay, so despite their responsibilities, despite their family responsibilities, social responsibilities, work responsibilities, an empath, if they're not making that time, they should. You would need to have some me time just to harmonize and balance your energies. Meditation is great, but even if you're not meditating, even if you're not a meditator or a spiritual practitioner, an empath would need to spend some me time just to be able to cut yourself off from everything that's going on in your environment and harmonize and balance your energies. Okay, so that's another trait. Um, another another trait of an empath is that they often, without them knowing, because they uh, feel the emotions of other people so much, a lot of times they may act involuntarily. Okay, so for example, um, um, your partner wants, suppose you're in a relationship or you're married, you have a, if you're a man and you're an empath, or you're a lady and you're an empath, your partner wants you to behave in a certain manner or wants to go on a holiday with you, or wants you to do something for him or her. You may not want to do that, and perhaps you're not ready to do that at the moment, but because you're an empath, and because you're feeling the emotions, because you're sensitive, because you're tuning into that person's energies, you may actually end up behaving involuntarily uh, in that particular manner. So, without even your partner having to ask, you may actually end up going for a holiday, even though it's a very busy work week, because you just have to do that. So, that's something that empaths do. That is one reason that empaths also have a struggle with success sometimes in their early lives or even in their mid career. Why? Because what happens is, suppose an empath is a brilliant person, um, scaling, climbing the ladder of success, and attracts some kind of jealousy or envy from colleagues and co workers. Because an empath is such a sensitive soul and is able to tune into the emotions of the co workers, may actually voluntarily start slowing down the process of his or her own success. And that's an empath, and they may not know why they're doing that, but they may be doing that involuntarily. So it's very important for you to realize if you are an empath, and if you are wondering, and if you're a very sensitive soul and you're wondering why you're not as successful as you should have been, just look within yourself, because sometimes we even infuse those kind of emotions from other people who are not that happy or pleased with our success. We tune into that, and involuntarily, if you're an empath or a sensitive soul, you act in accordance to the other people's emotions. So, another thing for empath is, I would like to say, it's very, very important. I have mentioned spending me time and alone time. It's extremely important to continually do energetic releases, to release the emotions and the energies that you have absorbed from your environment and from your other people. Could be your relatives, could be your family members, the stresses. Okay. Another very important thing for you to do is to keep cutting your cords. Now, people often ask me, what are cords? Cords are energy and etheric uh, streams or connections or energy streams that are sent in our body, in our physical and energy and spiritual body by other people. So, for example, if you're a parent, you could have calls coming in from your children who are dependent on you for their survival. If you are a grown up adult and taking care of an elderly parent, you could have calls coming in from a parent who now depends on you. If you are in a relationship, you would have calls coming in from a girlfriend, or if you are a lady, then calls coming in from your boyfriend. And I'm not talking, of course, our loved ones and our close family members or our partners, our friends, they also send us cards of love. But when I'm talking about cards here, I'm talking about cards which are rooted in lower human emotions, cards of stress, cards of anger, um, cards of guilt, and neediness. A lot of times a partner who's over dependent on a spouse may infuse chords, energetic chords of neediness in the partner, and so eventually the relationship may become very claustrophobic and impacted. Similarly, a parent who's dependent on a child or a grown up adult child may infuse chords of again neediness and even stress, even fear in the caretaker child's body, and that may impact that person's uh, emotions and even impact their lives in a lot of ways. Okay. So cord cutting is essential. You can cut your cords by invoking Archangel Michael. If you already work with Archangel Michael or angelic beings, you can simply close your eyes and call upon and invoke Archangel Michael and just repeat the sentence. Archangel Michael, I call upon you right now, and I request you to cut and release all cords stemming from lower human emotions from my energy, from my energetic, physical, spiritual body. Let only cords of love remain within me, and release and dispel all cords coming from lower human emotions. Help me to harmonize and balance my energies within. It's as simple as that. Okay. So these were my few tips and few guidelines about empaths. Uh, if you're watching this video, perhaps you are an empath. Perhaps you have wondered why you have acted in a certain way in your life, or why you are so sensitive to energies around you. Why you reflect the symptoms of certain ailments that you don't think you have, or sometimes you do get scared with certain symptoms, and when you go for your medical test, you realize that you actually don't have any physical ailment. Um, so, and why sometimes your relationships are so volatile, why you feel so much, why sometimes you voluntarily move away from success in your professional life. Okay, and these are a few common experiences that an empath may go through. And if you're one, then it's good to recognize yourself as one and take steps to move forward, feeling stronger and protecting your energy and emotional body, and also spending some time alone, and also releasing any negativity or negative energy, negative emotions that you may have picked up from your environment or the cords, uh, or cutting any cords that may have infused themselves within you. As I shared briefly, um, you can do so with Archangel Michael. Okay, And another tip that I would like to share with you, if you are an empath, and it is also a very handy tip for sensitive souls. If you have an invitation and if you're going to a social gathering, which is going to be a very crowded space, and as an empath, I'm sure you probably don't like going to crowds, but if you have to go, then what you can do is you can actually shield yourself. So before going, or before going to that particular gathering or a celebration or a party, or visiting your relatives' homes or your friends' home, you can actually close your eyes and visualize a beautiful white light in spherical form or in cylindrical form around you, shielding you, covering you, and protecting your aura, so that wherever you're going, you do not pick up the energies or the negative emotions from there. Alternatively, you may even visualize a violet light. Violet flame is a beautiful ray of healing. Not only does it shield, it also heals at the same time. So if you are confident about working with violet ray of healing, you may even visualize before going to a social gathering or in a crowded space, or even going for work tomorrow morning, or getting into the train or traveling by bus, or going into the traffic, walking by yourself, going out with friends, partying. You can just visualize a violet light in oval shape covering your entire physical body from head to toe, protecting you from any external energetic influences or any negative energies and emotions from other people. All right, so that's it from me. A brief video about being an empath and what you can do about it, and how you can, while being an empath, how you can lead a more peaceful, radiant, and abundant life. So enjoy, have a lovely evening, and being an empath is a beautiful gift. So enjoy being an empath, but also take care of yourself, because your gifts are truly needed by this world at this particular time. All right. Goodbye, my friends. This is Money Goel saying namaste. Bye.